Good morning to all your viewers as well. It's a pleasure for me to be back on your show again, and this time to be talking about something that obviously is very close to my heart, and that's about business opportunities in Davao, in the Davao region. But before I go into, I suppose, the silver lining or the opportunities that we're seeing, um, I guess just to explain what we're seeing on the ground in Davao. I think the situation there is not much different from other parts of the country or other major cities, such as NCR and Cebu, where businesses were greatly affected. Um, there were a number of closures already of various establishments, and that's still going on up to now. But I think we had a little bit of an advantage because our ECQ period was shorter than that of NCR, so it was declared later and it was lifted earlier than Metro Manila by I think about a month or a month and a half. So that allowed a little bit more construction to take place and other businesses to operate. But definitely the local economy continues to see a lot of challenges. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we're seeing right now is in the form of tourism. Um, Before the pandemic, Davao had a very strong MICE segment. And these conventions were really what was driving a lot of the hotel occupancy, consumption in local businesses such as restaurants, the need for transport services. So when the lockdown happened, these businesses were greatly affected. And unfortunately, we've already seen a number of hotels close down, some temporary, but there were some that have closed down for good as well. A number of retail establishments, and we've seen them in our commercial spaces, restaurants and other kinds of establishments have closed. And one of the other, I would say, big challenges that we're continuing to see up to today is being able to bring investors to Mindanao. So in our business, one thing that we really pride ourselves on is being able to bring investors into our industrial parks, into our office spaces. So not being able to physically bring them to Mindanao, that's definitely going to be a challenge going forward. Although it's good that we can do video calls, but I would say it's still very different to be able to bring the investor and to step into Mindanao. But looking forward, I think we need to see what the silver lining is. Um, we support anything that a theme such as countryside development, for instance, and this is really not a brand new concept, but what we'd like to see is that it's really being pushed now. So we want to see more investors coming into our industrial parks and in our BPO offices, for instance, and we feel that Davao is very well positioned to take in some of that investment once people are able to travel and are able to invest. We also like the BPO space, and we've been hearing that it's going to be one sector that's going to be very resilient. After all, the BPO sector was really born out of a previous crisis. So Davao being a very cost-efficient place to do business, we feel that there will be some BPOs coming our way. Also infrastructure, there are a number of major infrastructure projects that we should be expecting in the coming years, so that will definitely help investment. And something that's also very important for our family and for our businesses in Mindanao is probably agribusiness. I think this is really the time to shine for agribusinesses and to really move up the value chain. And for instance, just about 2 weeks ago, we inaugurated, well, one of our locators inaugurated his food processing plant within our industrial park. So we want to see more of that investment, and we really encourage investors to look into that space. So looking to the future, I would say we're cautiously optimistic. I think the recovery is really going to depend on how we treat our lockdowns. I myself personally, and along with other business sector leaders, we would rather see not a generalized lockdown, but more, I guess you could say a more surgical approach and locking down certain areas and continuing to test so that businesses can continue to operate. So I guess, like we always say, I mean, we have to hope for the best, but we feel that there are those opportunities out there. So we just have to really hang on and just expect that we'll get over this soon. Thank you very much and good morning.